In a world filled with sniveling snowflakes, where timeouts and safe places are abundant, where there's 37 genders to scroll through in a job application. Not that they have jobs. We're proud to be your salvation and your beacon to unabashed, in-your-face talk. This is Stars, Bars, and Cigars, the no-holds-barred conservative talk show hosted by battle-tested vets. Lock and load and get ready for an explosive journey through breaking news, the rich tapestry of constitutional history, and the pulse-pounding realities of Army and Navy life. Oh, and yeah, cigars. Stars, Bars, and Cigars. And now your hosts, Jimmy the Bull and Tig Tigger.
Hey, Patriots and Snowflakes. Tig, how are ya?
I'm doing just fine, Bull. How the hell are you?
I'm shaking like a leaf.
Shaking like a leaf. Yeah. Everybody better get scared now because government's trying to press fear again.
Yes, they are. And tonight, our episode's called One Thing is Not Like the Other. And we're going to discuss those things. But first,
Sesame Street days.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Sesame Street. That's kind of, I think that's what I heard it before, I guess. I don't know, maybe.
Not like the other.
Yeah. So, what are you smoking, Tig?
Well, I haven't lit her up yet, but it is an Arturo Fuente Hemingway Signature Series. Yum, yum, yum. This has got, it's got a little nipple. It is a 6-inch by 47 gauge figure. Okay. It's kind of like just a little bit bigger than a Corona. They take this and they age it 6 months in a cedar lined aging rooms. It's got a sweet Cameroon wrapper. It's a Dominican Republic. And actually, I tell you, I don't smoke a whole lot of Dominican Republics, but lately I started and I think they're really good. And, you know, when it comes to Fuente, man, there's, you know, when in doubt, Fuentes are always good. I mean, some people are saying, oh, well, they've gone downhill. They're not as good anymore. No. Fuente is a Fuente is a Fuente. And Fuente, you can never go wrong with a Fuente. Okay. And so it's a smooth smoke, a little creamy. It's got sweet chocolate, slight coconut, and mild pepper finish. And we're gonna light this puppy up, and we are going to get started. And Bull, what the hell are you smoking tonight?
I am smoking an Enclave by AJ Fernandez. Just
wonderful,
freaking outstanding smokes, man. I love everything that comes out of this this tobacco plant. It is a Churchill, and it's a 7x52 ring gauge, and it carries a 92 rating through Cigar Aficionado. So it's got a really good rating on it. And I charred the shit out of that when I lit it up. You see that? That's not so good.
Yeah, that doesn't look hot.
You know, I'm going to have to get past that first half inch, and then I think it'll be okay. You know, the flavors.
Well, you're using that damn flamethrower again.
Yeah, the flamethrower.
Flamethrower. You're not, you know, come on. You're just, yeah, you're using a damn cold torch on it.
Oh, yeah, it's an overkill. So, yeah, like I said, it's made by AJ Fernandez there, 92 rating through Cigar Aficionado. It's got an Ecuador wrapper, Cameroon binder, and a Nicaraguan filler. Supposed to have notes of cedar, fresh bread, and get this, a hint of sweet barbecue sauce. So I'm gonna be looking for that.
You know, I failed to mention that this Fuente Hemingway, of course, is named after Ernest Hemingway, the writer,
right,
who smoked many cigars in his day. Probably he smoked not only his share, but he smoked your share, smoked my share, and probably smoked everybody's share. You know, tons.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, one thing I'm noticing about this enclave is it's got a ton of smoke. It's got some volume of smoke, which I like. You know, I like having a cigar that gets, you know, it's easy to draw, and then just gives off big clouds.
Hmm. Yeah, AJ.
Yeah. So, Tig, uh, the Epstein list.
Oh my gosh.
So, okay, here it is. This is one thing that's not
95
like the other.
pages. 95 pages. Can you imagine? There is 95 pages, and yet they say they don't exist now after they said they had the files.
Yeah, I don't know about this.
Oh my gosh.
You know, I mean, we were discussing a little bit about this before we came on. We were talking about how Pam Bondi was, you know, kind of, you know, get railroading everybody on this deal. And, you know, we discussed a few things, you know, along those lines. And then we also brought up that, you know, Dan, you know, saying he's going to quit, but, you know, it's not like 100%. You know, the guy lost all of his credibility with Cash when they both, you know, went on TV, national TV, and basically lied to everybody about this.
This is not the Cash Patel that wrote the book called
It's not the
Government.
Dan Bongino either.
No, the Dan Bongino that was on the podcast, that's not him. The Cash Patel that wrote the book Government Gangsters, that was on several interviews all the time on several shows in America's Voice News. Yeah. It's not the same guy. These guys either sold their asses out, or they become compromised, blackmailed, and or basically had their families threatened. Who knows what it was? But let me tell you something. The real dirtbag, the real shitbag, the real one that I said from the very beginning I did not like was Scam the Pam Bondi.
Yep.
Okay. She is a scumbag, all right? Pam the Scam the Pam.
I think she's owned by Israel, man. She's an Israeli fucking operative, you know, and she should be filling out a FISA.
All right, I'm sick of America licking Israel's ass, for one. But anyway, that's another. We'll go on about that in a minute.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, Bondi, I don't like Bondi. Never did like Bondi. She was for red flag laws in Florida. I never liked her then. She was a Bush person. She was behind the Bush family. Okay. Right. She was actually for Jeb Bush in 2016. Originally, she was not originally a MAGA guy, a person, or behind Trump at all. Originally, she's a phony. And the whole thing is, as I said from the get-go, it should have been Gates. They should have circled the wagons around him, said, "Screw your scandal bullshit. This is our guy."
Yeah. And, you know, they should have said, you know, we know half you guys are on the Epstein list, and, you know, we're going to use that to our advantage, you know, so you better get him through, or we're going to come after you right away. We won't waste no time. You know, Trump should have went out and said this to all these, you know, Congress people, you know, I mean,
you know, we want justice. That's what we voted for too. You know, we didn't vote for lies, deceit, non-transparency. However, what did they say about, oh, well, this is just a thing because he's getting ready to set up a military tribunal instead of the criminal justice system, because the criminal justice system sucks. We all know it.
It is a criminal justice system.
Yeah. So, I mean, what do you think? Military tribunal? Is this all just kind of smoke and mirrors because they're setting it up? Is this just like basically, yeah, people are going to get pissed off, but we got to do this in order to set up for the next thing, the next hammer that we're going to drop?
Yeah.
You know, so who knows? I mean, we're all pissed off. A lot of us are. And then you got some people saying, oh, MAGA this, MAGA that. Oh, some of you people are MAGA traitors, or, oh, you know, we're standing behind Trump no matter what. Okay, well, you know, some of us voted for Trump 3 times, and we're disappointed because we expected more. And maybe there's a plan, who knows? But, you know, there's a lot of reasons to be suspicious. And when you have voted for somebody like we have the multiple times and stood behind him, and we see some stuff now, you know, we have every reason to criticize, every reason in the world to criticize, because we hired this guy. We hired him 3 times, actually. Yeah. And so, we have a right to criticize, regardless if the rest of MAGA or the Republicans or whatever the hell people want to call themselves nowadays, Trumpers, whatever, regardless of what they think. They want to criticize people like us, fine. You know what? Hey, we have a right to our opinion. We have a right to be suspicious about Trump right now because we're not seeing what we thought we would be seeing by now. It's that simple.
Right.
So, and yeah, I don't know what's going on, but, here's the thing too, is, some say that basically Trump and Bondi and all the rest of them are basically being threatened by Israel.
Well, I find this really interesting that you bring this up because, Bibi spent about a week in the United States, probably issuing orders to Trump.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Why do we take shit from Israel?
No, we should tell them the fucking pound sand.
First of all, folks, we are not anti-Semite. All right. Okay. Yeah. There is a problem with certain Jews. I get it. They do hate the Christians. Okay. All you have to do is read their little Talmud that tells you what they think of the Gentiles. Okay.
Yeah. Death to the Gentiles.
And what they think of Jesus. So here's the thing, folks. This is not the Israel of the Bible. So all you Christians out there say we got to support the chosen ones. This is Israel, they're the chosen ones. We're supposed to support them, really, because they're not the Israel of the Bible. See, the Israel of the Bible is going to happen when the Jews all come back, and some of the leadership may be Jewish themselves. However, here's the thing: right now, the government is a sinister, corrupt government within Israel. Their intelligence agency, Mossad, is about as corrupt as our CIA. Mossad and the government, much of the government, especially Netanyahu for one, are not even Jewish.
Right.
Most of the people running the show in Israel are not even Jewish. And here's the thing: we're giving billions to them every year. We support Israel. We have built their military so that they could bully the whole entire Middle East, which they do. They are a bully. They are an instigator. Folks, do the research. And another thing, too, is most of their people are living off the government dime. And they're getting more than the United States people are getting. And they're the ones actually taxes.
Well, we're the debt slaves for them. We're the debt slaves for them. So
what you got here is you got corporations. You got the United States is a corporation, basically. Israel's a corporation. Great Britain's a corporation. And the United States is basically owned by Britain and Israel. This is sick, folks. You wonder why the New World Order is starting to win again.
Yeah.
Because we keep laying down to these people. If anything, what we should do if we want it to become the Israel of the Bible is maybe take one of those bombs that we supposedly hit Iran with, and instead maybe we should hit Israel and tell them to get a regime change. Because then maybe if they get a regime change, maybe they will become more of a holy nation. Maybe they will become more of a nation like the nation that is in the Bible. Okay, when the Bible speaks of Israel being the nation, it speaks of the people. It does not speak of this government, sinister, corrupt government you see today.
Right.
All right. And like I said, people can say, oh, you're anti-Semite, you're anti-Israel, boo, hoo, hoo, whatever. Okay, I'm a conservative. I'm a founding father conservative. I'm a constitutional conservative. And what I see, what we've been doing with Israel is just not right. Okay, our founding fathers would not like what our founding fathers wouldn't like a damn thing that's going on right now in this country.
Right.
Period. All right. This is ridiculous.
No, they would have been stacking bodies already. Yeah. And it would have been half the Democrats.
Yeah. They would have grabbed that Epstein list and said, dead, hang ya.
Yeah,
it's it,
Yeah.
I don't know. That's but the founding fathers, when they decided to sign on to the Declaration of Independence and fight the largest at the time empire in the world, there was only 3% that agreed to do so. Now you look at today's government, which is so much more sinister and corrupt than the government that that our founding fathers were fighting at the time. And now you see, baby, lucky if you see 1% that have that state of mind anymore of American population. That's what's sick. That's why we can never actually give the government back or give the country itself back to the people constitutionally, because the people are so distracted, so in the dark, so gutless, and there's only like 1% that would actually be willing to actually fight a new revolution instead of the 3% they had even back then, which was almost nearly impossible. But they did it back then. Now it's story, everything's high tech and all that. It's a whole different ball game. But I'm just saying the mentality is terrible.
Yeah, that you brought up the high tech stuff. They're still trying to push through that or the 10 years for the AI bullshit. Why is Trump doing this? This is not MAGA. This is not MAGA, period.
Why did Trump never go back and say it was a mistake to create Operation Warp Speed and the COVID vaccine? Why has he not come out against the mRNA? Why is he defending the guys that want to build a new mRNA that is supposedly an anti-cancer vaccine? And he'll probably defend a new vaccine against a new plague, against a new scandemic that they're trying to push now.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
All right. So
yeah, we were kind of discussing that a little bit beforehand, and you brought up some really interesting points about it, as far as the 5G towers,
chemtrails.
The chemtrails, and what they're doing, up in the sky, and if you guys don't know anything about chemtrails, they're not condensation. It's not condensation from these jets. Condensation dissipates as soon as about 10 minutes afterwards.
Yeah, it's just water.
It's just water vapor.
These lines you see in the sky are chemicals. Okay, hard, heavy metals like aluminum. But not only that, what's not being said is what else is going on, those chemicals, those chemtrails, which is basically nanoparticles and the same kind of ingredients that is in the mRNA vaccines and the COVID vaccines. So we breathe this all in, and when they turn on the 5G towers, which has got more radiation than any thousands and thousands of microwaves combined, it has neurological effects on people. People are getting sick. People having neurological problems, headaches, everything, nausea, everything.
Let me stop you for a second, Tig. Hey, did you see that video I sent to you about the drone that flew up against it? And then all of a sudden it got fried and
set on fire as it went down. It was smoking because of a 5G, because it got too close to the 5G tower. What does that tell you about the 5G tower? When you send a drone up and it goes as high as the 5G tower, and then it comes boom, it crashes and it is smoking. Okay, if it does that to something mechanical, what do you think it does to you internally when you're made up of flesh, folks?
Yeah, it cooks you, man.
Yeah, that's why people are getting sick. That's why people are getting headaches. That's why people are having sinus problems, neurological problems, you name it. And
recently, I've been turning off my Wi-Fi at night. I've been putting my phone in a Faraday bag, and I tell you what, I sleep great, man. I just sleep great.
I got a Faraday bag.
You need to put your phone in it at night, man. All your electronic devices in your bedroom, put them in there, but just forget about it.
Folks, it's copper.
Yeah.
Line everything with copper if you can. It's very expensive, but it stops.
Oh yeah, it's saying expensive. Wasn't there a tariff just recently?
Yeah. Well, 50% tariff on copper. Why do you think the government would put a 50% tariff on purchasing copper? Probably because it stops messages. It stops the government from being able to spy on you, track you. It stops the 5G from, and the Wi-Fi and stuff from affecting you. If you lined your whole house in copper, folks, you'd be fine. Government couldn't track you, couldn't watch you, couldn't spy on you. The 5G wouldn't get to you. And oh, by the way, while we're at it, why don't you just paint your roof blue, because that'll stop the direct energy weapon from setting your fucking house on fire.
Well, since you said that, they got a base which base was it? Did I send you that video also where they had all the buildings had the blue roofs on them?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's it. I mean, that's government buildings.
Yeah.
They
paint their roofs blue.
Paint their buildings blue. Why do you think that is? And last year they caught on a hot mic Biden talking about, oh, so their roofs were blue.
Yeah, meaning, we got to fix that, he said.
Yeah, because
that fixes in, he said.
The direct energy weapon that sets the so-called forest fires where it fries everything and leaves like trees intact.
Yeah.
Houses down and the cars destroys them, leaves the trees intact. You know, those things
the grass.
Those things are real, folks. And the thing is, for some reason, direct energy weapon, the lasers, and for some reason, lasers and other weaponry that use light, forms of light, including it may be lightning too, that these blue roofs deflect. They stop the light and the laser from frying your houses to the ground.
Right.
Yeah. So, you know, people want to say, oh, you guys are conspiracy. Oh, you're nuts. What are you smoking? Hey, we're smoking cigars, folks. That's all we smoke. But we also, what we tell you is the truth. And if you don't like the truth, then I guess your brains just can't handle it.
No, they're not educating themselves enough.
Yeah, you just got to look down the rabbit hole. Seek the truth out yourselves. Folks, we're not going to hold your hand and show you where our sources are. That's too long a list. Okay? Yeah. We don't have the time for that, nor do we want to give up our sources because we want you to do the same work we do. That's it. Be a man, be an adult, be a woman, right. be an adult, and do your research instead of sitting your ass down watching the BBC or CNN or local news or listening to whatever the hell you listen to that spreads the same bullshit narratives. It's all lies, folks.
Yeah.
Do the research. Now they're saying in, what was it, New Mexico, Arizona, somebody died of a plague. Oh God, let's get scared of that next. Government's going to push that next. They're going to say, oh, bug bites, animals. Oh, they're spreading a plague. You're all going to die now. Okay, better get your vaccine. Get ready for shutdowns. Get ready for masking. Get ready for the whole thing again. Well, you know what, folks? It may happen, but it may not happen. If you all learned from COVID, stand up and say, no, we're not going to buy your bullshit anymore. Okay, you know who warned us of that? Fauci, who belongs in prison. Actually, he belongs on a rope and tree. Gates is another one who belongs rope and tree. Those goons already told us their agenda, already told us the plan. They said, oh, the next one's going to be far worse than COVID. And yet nobody shuts down. They still continue to fund this shit. They still continue to create viruses and stuff. And they get away with that shit. And then they can release it however way they want to release it. Okay, they're man-made. They're not going to kill you. Build up your immune system naturally. Don't be afraid of the plague. The plague has been going on and on forever in India. Nobody's ever shut down that country.
I'll tell you what, Tig, you know, if they come out with another variant or whatever to scare everybody into a lockdown, I'm going to fucking rob the system just like everybody did during COVID. I'm not fucking around this time. Last time I got robbed, I worked my ass off during COVID. Never got sick. Never. Not once.
Police were called on me 3 times because I refused to wear a mask in certain places. You know what? I'm never going to wear a mask. You know what? I'm never going to take a stupid, new, rare, unknown vaccine that's going to kill my ass off. All right. I'm never going to stay home because these assholes tell me to stay home. And I'll tell you one thing. The next one, if they try to use the military in any shape or form or law enforcement to shut us down through martial law or whatever, let me tell you something. Emergency Powers Act was unconstitutional. All right, folks. Soon as you learn that no matter what they do for emergencies, the whole laws they created, the Emergency Powers Act, as soon as you learn that it was unconstitutional, research Madison versus Marbury. Madison versus Marbury. Okay. All laws repugnant to the Constitution are null and void. Okay. If we did not consent to it, if it is against the Constitution, then any laws they have made cannot be enacted. We have the right to resist. Okay. So if they try to strip us of our constitutional rights because of an act of emergency, it's unconstitutional itself. Therefore, it's null and void. We have the right to resist, and we will not comply to any of their stinking nonsense. So any of you people, if you learned anything from COVID, you better stand up next time, and you better take up arms, and you better say, no, 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 we're not going through this
No
bullshit.
fucking way.
All right. We will declare war on the government before we go through this nonsense again. So, folks, set up your other constitutional right, which the founders actually wrote, and that is standing military is not the same as the militia. We, the people, are the militia. As long as we have a Second Amendment, we also have the right to form a militia. So there.
You know,
I keep saying it because I want people to get it through their thick skull.
I understand. You know, now that they got that Palantir bullshit going, you know, they're creating files on every single American. That's you, me, everybody.
Have at it, folks. Have at it.
Yeah, and what they do is they go through all your socials, your social medias, you know, like Facebook, Meta, everything. They're all in on this, and they are giving away all of your metadata.
Yeah. Hey.
That's why they're building these big, huge fucking, you know, metadata bases all over the United States, and they're consuming tons and tons of power. And, you know, why?
I got
surveillance state.
I got one file on the entire United States government. One file on the United States government. You know what that file says? It says they're corrupt, lying, deceiving, untransparent bunch of tyrants, and we will not comply to losing our constitutional rights. And that file itself also says that we should never, ever listen to the government nor do whatever the government tells us to do. That's the only file I need. Yeah. You want to come and get some government, whatever their powers may be, ATF, FBI, I don't care. What are you going to do? What do you do? What laws have I broken?
Yeah.
What laws is the next person broken? Do you have something? Because really,
you know, there's a little thing called the Freedom of Speech Act. So I mean, we're not breaking no rules telling people what's going on.
Oh, by the way, anybody listening, the Second Amendment's constantly being violated. It's been violated for a lot of years now. Okay, because the Second Amendment, there is no compromise. Okay, so any law that says that Americans can't have fully automatic firearms such as machine gunnery or, you know, RPGs or any of that stuff, a fucking tank, guess what? That's part of the Second Amendment. All right. Yeah. Don't kid yourselves, folks. Don't listen to these stupid liberals that think it's not part of the Second Amendment, because they have no clue about what the Second Amendment actually says. But they read it wrong every single time. They don't use punctuation. They don't know a damn thing. All right. The Second Amendment, there was no compromise and there is no limitations on what you can have. Period.
Yeah.
So I don't get it. Yeah, they can come and get you and arrest you for having the weapons that they find illegal. But you know what? It's silly. I mean, it's very a clear violation of the Constitution, and it's something that people need to start standing up for their constitutional rights left and right. You know, it's ridiculous. So, you know, I'll tell you, like I said, things are hairy all over. Things don't as they are. Lots of confusion going on, lots of distractions going on. You know, the floods. We have not spoken about all these floods.
They said that there was over 1,000 floods throughout the world.
Yeah. One state after another, too. One city
in different countries also. So that stinks of something.
Yeah, geoengineering, weather modification, part of the plan, folks.
You know, I was watching this video of this lady who does. She has a website where she does a daily podcast of the 5G towers and how they move the clouds and stuff or storms, and you know, it's pretty interesting to watch. And you know, what she did was she showed where there was like a string of them going down through, you know, like by the Gulf of America. There was a string of these towers that were emitting, you know, blasts, you know, to push the clouds and such with, you know, the radiation frequencies.
I saw that video actually.
Yeah, then I probably sent it to you. But you know, and it got me really thinking, you know, if someone were to knock out, you know, 20 of those 5G towers, you know, burn the fuckers right to the ground, you know.
I heard they're doing it in England. Some of the
Yeah,
people
they're doing it all over the world, man.
they're getting rid of the 5G towers because they're harmful.
Yeah.
They're clearly harmful. And
Well, I think Russia got rid of them.
oh yeah, Russia doesn't have chemtrails either, nor does Russia
No,
put fucking shit in their food, poison in their food either.
no. I heard that you can become a citizen of Russia if you wanted to move there, but I have
You
no
gotta learn the
desire.
language.
I don't have no desire.
You gotta learn the language too.
Right.
So, you know, I don't know.
It's
But
not my deal, but
I mean, we still, America's still the greatest nation on the earth just because we have a
we
few
just need to
jack
fix it.
wagons.
We
We
just
just,
need to fix it.
we need to improve it. We need to get rid of these jack wagons in DC. You know, like I said before in the last podcast, the only one that has any kind of sense anymore is Marjorie Taylor Greene. She
Yep.
actually represents the people. She's actually trying to
Yep.
defend her rights, and she's trying to defend justice and trying to defend what is morally right.
Yep.
They keep shooting her down because they're the evil ones. You know, this getting back to the floods. Here's the thing. A lot of people are talking about end times prophecy. This is prophecy, end times prophecy. Here's the thing. I'll tell you what. And this is just a little biblical lesson for you guys. When you read about end times prophecy in the Bible, when Christ talked about there would be floods and earthquakes and stuff, and there'd be, you know, the beginning of pains and stuff like that, and what to see in the end times. And then John of Patmos, when he wrote the book of Revelation, that was originally called the revelation of Jesus Christ to John. And so when you look at what was to occur in the end times, not once did it say that God was going to create these disasters that would be the beginning of the end times. Not once
Right.
did God say it. So, but it just talks about his return after these signs of the end times, when the end times happens. So, folks, you know what's happening? The evil powers that be, the Satan worshipers that lead the world leaders like the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, you name it, you know, those leading Israel and behind the government of Britain and our government, those sinister Satanists, they know the Bible, and they're trying to create this through geoengineering and modification and everything else, and the plagues and all that stuff. They are artificially creating this to make it look like the end times are occurring so they can bring in their Antichrist as the one world leader to get people to think it's actually the return of Christ. And they're going to try to fool everybody. And they're pushing prophecy is what they're doing.
Hey, just kind of a little sidetrack here, you know. Have you been seeing these videos with the like the Bigfoot and the Yeti and they do those funny little outtakes and shit?
Yeah.
You know, that's AI. So
And holograms.
yeah, so
Blue Beam Project.
yeah, so you know, folks, I mean, you know, they're making this stuff look pretty realistic, you know, for one. And you know, they're probably going to make a video of us saying shit about, you know, stuff. And we've already come out and we said, you know, we put a disclaimer out there, and it still holds true. We're grandfathered in. That you want to fucking make some videos of us saying stuff that are putting words into our mouths, we will sue you.
We'll sue your ass.
Yeah.
We're not suicidal either. So
Nope.
we're telling the truth, and we're not suicidal. We don't plan on committing suicide. So we're telling you right now, we don't plan on having accidents or committing suicide.
Right.
We're just telling you the plain old truth. And if somebody don't like it out there, well, they can kick rocks.
Pound sand.
Yeah. And here's the thing too. AI. Yeah. Holograms. We'll talk about, well, in September, about how 911 was a complete joke, how it was done, by whom it was done, and the fact that it's not the narrative to this day that some people still want to believe.
Yeah.
Those buildings did not collapse by airplanes, folks. and the airplanes did not fly into buildings. Your eyes deceive you.
Yeah, where's the wings? The wings would have fell right to the street for number one. So did the tail section. That would have been on the street.
And a missile was what hit the Pentagon. So we'll get into that later on. But the thing is that people can call us conspiracy theories, and they can conspiracy theorists, and they can say, "Oh, they're controversial." Good, because the truth is controversial, isn't it? Because the truth is a revolutionary act, is what it is, folks. So that's what we're going to continue to do. We're going to tell the truth, the whole truth.
And we're doing our constitutional duties to question, this administration, because if we don't, then they're free to roam and do whatever the fuck they want to us.
We're real patriots. And the thing is, folks, if you believe everything, no matter what, that the Democrat Party says, and you believe in what they do, and you believe no matter what the Republican Party says and everything they do, congratulations. Both parties have done a really good job of brainwashing, indoctrinating you. Congratulations, folks, because you have failed to question both that are two different wings, same bird. Right. Both parties bought and paid for by the same corporations, the same banks. Congratulations, folks, you've been duped. Okay?
Sad.
You have been duped. You're all smart. If you're all smart, you all become independent. Don't register in the party. Don't donate to the parties. Tell them, screw you. We're done with these parties. You're all crap. You're all garbage. You're all liars. You're all corrupt. You're all using our taxpayers' dollars for foreign kickbacks. You're all buying us and selling us out to the corporations and foreign entities and the banks. Israel, Britain, church, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, you name it.
Okay? Yeah. If
Federal Reserve.
If you want solid proof, ask yourself, why can't you go to Antarctica without having to go to the specific areas they want you to?
And have special permission to go in certain areas. Yeah.
Because as soon as you fly that way, or sail a boat down that way, you're going to be stopped. You will be told to turn around and leave the area. Why? And that's the same, up in the north, up by the North Pole. You're not allowed to go up past, Prudhoe Bay. Well, actually, to get to Prudhoe Bay, you still got to be you got to work up there. So you're not even allowed to go up to Prudhoe Bay. So,
on another note, the whole Iran thing where everybody was saying, oh, we got to bomb them. They're going to have a nuke. Didn't I say that Netanyahu several times from 1990 to 2005 to 2015 was saying, oh, they're going to have nukes in a few weeks. Oh, they're going to have nukes in a few years. And they kept saying it. Oh, they're going to have nukes to justify bombing Iran. And yet Iran hasn't had nukes. They don't have nukes. They have a nuclear power plant to power up their country. I took a lot of flack for that. I said, I'm not backing Hamas or Palestine or terrorist groups. I'm saying is the real reason why they wanted to take out Iran. And Trump was saying, we don't want a regime change. Then they turned around and said, we want a regime change in Iran. You know why they wanted a regime change in Iran? It's the same reason why they wanted a regime change in Iraq. Same reason why they wanted a regime change in Libya. It goes on and on and on, folks. They had a plan to take out these countries and these dictators. And you know why they had to plan to do that? Because they wanted them into the central banking system. Right. They took out Gaddafi. He had his own currency. That country was wealthy and they had their own currency. They didn't belong to a central bank, right? They killed Gaddafi because he resisted them, because he would not give into the central banking system and sell his people out. His people were getting free health care. They were getting free electricity, free water. They were getting food for dirt cheap, okay? And that all changed because
they zero interest loans.
Yes, and they killed him, and then Libya had to give in and become part of a central banking system. Same with Iraq.
Yeah.
Saddam Hussein, oh, he's bad man, he's evil, he's got weapons. He never had weapons of mass destruction ever. Okay, and you
I
know
never
what?
found him.
And they never found him. All he had is a little bit of mustard gas here and there. Yeah, he did spray his people, but he sprayed the ones that tried to kill him, that tried to overthrow him. And you know what? He had his own money, his own currency. In fact, I have some of that currency because some of you veterans of the war on terror that were over there, you got some of that currency probably. You took it home as a souvenir. It was called the dinar. And you know what it said? And you know what it said on top of the dinar? It said Central Bank of Iraq, not Federal Reserve. It said Central Bank of Iraq. They had their own money, their own gold, and people actually lived a lot better as far as they didn't have to pay electric bill and they didn't have to pay these high bills and stuff like that. And then, okay, so they overthrow Saddam Hussein so that Iraq can join a central banking system. So much for the dinar. And then there was a scam going around saying, oh, that dinar, you got to buy up this dinar, buy it up because, you know, one day it's going to match the dollar. One day it's going to be close to the dollar, and then it's going to be worth a lot. And then you can turn it in to a bank and get it for, you know, like United States currency. So if you have 100,000 dinar, one day you might get 50 to 100,000 back in cash for it in American dollars. That was a scam, folks, because they had no intention of doing that. They tore down the Iraqi dinar and the Central Iraq Bank so that they could make the new government that United States government and the CIA and the Mossad chose, and Israel, of course. The new government they choose, they wanted it to choose not for democracy, folks. They wanted it to choose so that they could make Iraq join a central banking system, a world central, globalist central banking system. So now let's go to Iran. The last country on the agenda. Why are they bombing them? Why do they continue to bomb them? They want to force a regime change because Iran has its own currency. People are living quite well in Iran, and they want to force Iran into a globalist world banking system so that they can control every country in the world into one currency, a one world currency globalist system, folks. That's the plan. So that's why we have been going after all these countries, all these little rogue nations, as they call them. They're rogue because they rejected the New World Order. They rejected a one world currency, a central banking system, because they wanted their own currency, just like the United States used to have before we were sold out to the Federal Reserve, and just like the United States needs to get back to.
Yeah. Backed by
You know
gold.
what? Your birth certificates, folks, your birth certificates is collateral to the Federal Reserve. They take out loans every year from the Federal Reserve, so much money, and you're a debt slave to that. You are their collateral, folks. You are slaves. You are debt slaves to that collateral. And you know what? Your taxes only pay the interest, if that, on that loan. And yet, both parties continue to spend you into further debt.
Yeah. And yeah. Hey, let's divert a little bit here. How's that smoke going for you?
It is a Fuente. It is a good smoke. All right. And you know, it smokes down to the end, pretty consistent. You know, it's not, you know, you're not going to get a great coffee flavor, sweet flavor. You're going to get hints of chocolate. You're going to get hints of, you know, maybe some wood to it. In the end, when it gets down to the end, it's going to be a little peppery and stuff. But it is a smooth, creamy smoke. It smokes evenly. The wrapper is well designed. The smoke is an easy draw, a smooth smoke. The one thing about an Arturo Fuente, folks, no matter which ones they are, the Arturo Fuentes are a good smoke for everyone across the board. You can never go wrong with the Arturo Fuente. It is one of the top of the line cigars that's not going to necessarily break you. Like this Hemingway Grand Reserva. Okay, This is about a $7 cigar, folks.
Yeah.
And yeah, most boxes of Arturo Fuentes are going to cost you up there in $100 and some range and stuff like that. And then they got one Arturo Fuente that is extremely expensive, but they have a wide variety of Arturo Fuentes that are economical for people that have a budget to the people that want to spend a lot of money on a very, very good cigar. And I even one day smoked one of the everyday smokes they have, one of the cheaper smokes they have. And I thought, well, this will probably be like one of the factory throwouts. I'm not so sure about this, but it's an Arturo Fuente. I'll try it. It was a pretty solid smoke for like what? It was like a $4 or $5 cigar. And I'm like, I don't know about a Fuente that's only $4 or $5, but it was pretty solid.
Yeah, and what's nice about the Fuentes is, I mean, if you're a beginner, man, that's a great cigar to smoke for a beginner.
It is the most sound cigar for anybody to smoke. Anybody
Can't go wrong.
Beginner to intermediate to the most advanced cigar aficionado people. And most of their cigars have high ratings, 90s. Most of their cigars hit the 90s ratings. They have withstood the test of time. Yeah, they have withstood the test of time. You know, the original Arturo Fuente came over from Cuba, you know, defected, set up shop, you know, like in Dominican Republic, and started, you know, making a Cuban style cigar. And that these are very fine cigars. And this Hemingway, I highly recommend it as a great smoke. It is a great sound, consistent smoke. You can't go wrong with a Fuente ever.
Well, I'll tell you what, Tig, I'm kind of stoked right at the moment. You know, I took my bands off my cigar.
Oh, you know what happens when that happens.
Well, I'm just going to show you something that I think is so freaking cool. I'm just totally stoked about this. Look on the back. AJ Fernandez.
His signature, huh?
It is. And it's actually in like a pen. It's not like reproduced. It's a pen.
You've got a legitimate autograph from the cigar. Wow.
Isn't that awesome?
Repeat to the audience what that AJ Fernandez is called. Show them
this one is an Enclave.
An Enclave.
Yeah, by AJ Fernandez.
Where did you get that, Bull? Because I have to pick one up now.
I picked this up over. Where did I get this one? Over off of JFK.
Okay.
It's a Smoke Shack by JFK there.
Okay. I might have to pick one up then.
Yeah, pick one up and see if you got the signature on it, because that is so freaking cool, man. I'm just blown away by this.
Now watch, they'll announce that you won something.
I know. I'm just like, wow, this is so freaking cool.
You know, I'll tell you what,
just so you know, that's my handwriting, so it's nothing like that. So I didn't do it.
Well, you know, at first when you said you took off the wrapper, I thought, you know, that means that it's such a great smoke that you're going to smoke it down to nothing, you know?
Because I plan on it.
Usually if you take the wrapper off, it's such a great smoke, you don't want to stop smoking it, so you have to take the wrapper off so you can smoke beyond it.
Well, I took it off kind of early. I was like, oh, this is kind of bothersome. So I was just like, well, I'm going to pull it off and, just smoke the plain cigar. But man, I was just kind of stoked when I saw that. I was like, wow, that's really cool, man. His signature.
That means it's a damn good cigar too when you pull the wrapper off.
When he wants to sign it, that means a lot right there.
Yeah.
Now I'll tell you what.
Check that out.
I'm getting a little sweet flavor to it. I can't say it's quite barbecue sauce though.
All right. Well,
it's not barbecue sauce that I'm tasting.
It'd be kind of hard to emulate barbecue sauce.
Yeah, especially with tobacco, but it is a sweeter taste to it. It's like it's got the depth. For a Nicaraguan tobacco, it's actually really good. And and then I could say a beginner could probably smoke this as well and not have much issue, because it's not a real harsh cigar. It's it's not a full body by any means.
Hey, Bo, I want to talk about one more thing, and I want you to really interject in this
segment. All right.
Because of the fact you're a truck driver.
Yeah, go for it. And
you probably remember you sent me some videos on this shit, but the underground tunnels in the cities. And that one guy said that there was an underground tunnel system that led to actual countries.
Well,
I don't know if I buy that, but I'll tell you what, I'm going to make a comment here about the underground tunnel system and the underground cities, but I want you to give a full opinion on that.
all right.
Drive all over the place.
Yeah. Well, okay. The one that I sent to you in the video, at first I'm like, wow, that's kind of cool. You know, it's got all the flags. And then I started thinking about it. I'm like, fuck, I think I delivered there, to be really honest with you, during COVID. This is in Kansas City. And this is where this particular tunnel system is. And they actually have like huge, I mean, you could drive like 4 semi trucks side by side all the way down this freaking thing. It's that big. Yeah, it's freaking huge. Yeah. And they're big, like, storage areas is what there are. But, you know, it's all underground. So it goes for miles and miles and miles. And, you know, that guy said that, you know, oh, you can drive to any country you want for just going into this tunnel. And I was like, well, no, not necessarily, because there's, you know, thousands of miles, you know, to get to wherever you're going to go.
You got to go through water to get to some of them.
Well, no, because they bore down so deep, they're under the ocean.
Oh, okay.
So they're under the ocean also.
You'd think that the oxygen would be a little thin.
Well, they pump it in. And, you know, they do have, you know, mag rails, so that is a fast way to travel. You know, they say they get up to about 1,000 miles an hour. So, and this is not conspiracy. Look it up, people. It's out there. That technology exists.
And the elitists have their own underground cities that they can go and hide to when they decide they want to nuke us all. Of course.
Yeah.
So what I was going to comment on the tunnels.
Okay.
And I'm going to make a comment, and this is true, folks. Okay. You can say what you want. One person laughed at me when I said about Alaska, but piss on you, because to that person, I served during the Cold War, and this was a fact, folks. And I'm going to start with this one. If you look on the real map of the world, Alaska, Russia is right above Alaska. And during the Cold War, they had underground tunnel systems that can get you from Alaska to Russia, to and from. And they always said that when World War III starts, when it starts on the ground, it's going to start in Alaska on our territory, and it's going to go to and from Alaska and Russia that way by foot. Okay. Yeah. So that's a fact. And I swear up and down, they still have those tunnel systems that can take you from Russia to Alaska, folks, because yes, if you look at the real map of the world, Russia is right on top of Alaska. That's why they gave Sarah Palin that time such a hard time when she was governor of Alaska. She said, I could practically see Russia from my backyard. Well, you know, metaphorically, yes. And
it's
actually,
like 3 miles, isn't it? Like 3 miles.
It wasn't far from it. It's more than that, but not, you know.
Oh, I think that's the halfway point, because there's 2 islands there. One's in today's time and one's in yesterday.
But there's underground tunneling systems, military underground tunneling systems going from Moscow, or not Moscow, just Russia to to Alaska. And there's also underground tunneling systems that go from the United States to Canada to and from. There's also underground tunneling systems that go from the United States to Mexico, underground tunnel system. And you know what? Let me tell you something, folks. You want to know how they're trafficking everything to and from these countries? Part of the reason why they get away with it is they don't actually go through the border. They go through the tunnel system.
Yeah.
They traffic drugs, they traffic humans and everything else. The Mexican cartels, they have a tunnel system that goes from Mexico to California, and they can actually traffic drugs through there, and they do traffic drugs through there. But then they found that they could actually, because the tunnel systems are big enough, they could actually traffic humans. Mm-hmm. So, and you know, that goes to the reason why the Epstein list too is so important too, because I think
honestly, Tig, I don't see the Epstein list making light of day ever.
No, and the reason why is because there's too many powerful people on that list. Too many powerful people.
The other thing too is that the government spent an enormous amount of money along with Mossad, building this
CIA
list.
and Mossad are responsible for
Yeah.
trafficking.
So
They
we
are,
ain't gonna ever see the light
drugs.
of it.
and drugs and human trafficking.
Right.
That's the whole thing.
That redacted list that's floating around, unredacted list, I should say. You saw that, right?
Yeah. Well, I seen the 95-page list
Yeah.
of all them people. Some of them happen to be very close to the Clintons, if actually the Clintons and the Obamas and other people from Israel to Britain to the United States. Prominent people, very powerful people, very wealthy people, all responsible. Rumor has it, maybe even some of President Trump's close family members may be on that list.
Yeah, and that's maybe a big reason right there.
Big speculation right now, no proof of that, but rumors been floating around, and it's not been floating around by the Democrats or the liberals. It's been floating around by conservatives. Yeah. They're finding some stuff, and so I don't know. I guess we're going to have to either see or not see.
Right.
Don't believe all the rumors the government tells you, folks, because when we were in the military, we heard rumors all the time, and most of them were not true. Right. And the only time they were true is when we were actually in the middle of it actually happening before our eyes, when we were actually, okay, this is actually a fact because we're doing it, because we're part of it. But thing is, don't believe anything the government says, anything. Don't believe anything the Democrats say. Don't believe anything the Republicans say. They're all full of shit. And let me tell you something. There's only one difference between the Republican Party and the Democrat Party. You want to know what that one difference is?
What's that?
Marketing.
Yeah.
One markets one category of people, the other markets the other category of people. And meanwhile, they get that agenda of division, which is part of the whole plan. Keep people divided and get these voters to vote for us, get these voters to vote for us, keep the people divided. And then when we get in office, it doesn't matter who gets in office on which side, we're still going to vote the same. Once in a while. Sometimes we're not going to vote the same, but that's because, you have to have, once in a while, you have to throw the people a bone and make them think that, we oppose each other,
Yeah.
It's kind of like professional wrestling. Really, it is. They're all friends behind the scenes. Not all friends, but most of them are friends.
Right.
And they all belong to the same club, and they all have their, they're getting the money from the same entities and stuff. Yeah. So we're the ones getting screwed. Hey,
Tig, I think you and I should run for office. We might as well become criminals like they are.
Yeah.
I don't think I can do it.
It's sick. I mean, it's really sick. Doge found all the fraud and waste, right?
Yeah.
And then Elon Musk came out and said, really, we have enough money to give 5,000 back to everybody.
Oh, I bet you it's even more than that.
And you know what? You know where that the findings went? It went in that big, beautiful bill with pork spending included.
Yeah.
So everybody's saying, oh, you're a traitor, or you're a Democrat, or you're a libtard, or you're this, or you're that, or you're not so MAGA or whatever because you disagree with the big, beautiful bill. You know what, folks? We disagree with the big, beautiful bill because there was a lot of pork spending, a lot of waste spending in it when we turned around and supposedly found waste. And now we're taking the money of the savings. They're taking the money of the savings and they're putting it right back in all these projects, right back in all this other pork spending in that big, beautiful bill.
Fuck you,
And on top of it, we're still giving money to Ukraine. We're still giving money to Israel. And you know what the government does? They take some of that money and they give it back to certain politicians that have organized this in kickbacks with our money. So the politicians are they're making millions off of kickbacks from your taxpayer dollars. Yeah. Meanwhile, you're a debt slave and you're screwed and you're not as rich as you should be because it's not your money. It was your money. It was until the Federal Reserve got a hold of it, and until the government decided to get a hold of it and give it to these foreign entities, and then they decide that they're going to give kickbacks out to the, to the Lady Grahams of the world and Chuck Schumers of the world and the Mitch McConnells of the
Yeah,
world.
because realistically, those guys don't even deserve to be in office anymore.
Pelosi's of the world.
I guess Pelosi's in a fucking pretty big bind right now because
J6ers. That's another thing.
Yeah, they're suing her for 300 million, and she's worth like 300 and something million. So, and the judges are they're siding with it.
Yeah, because it's a civil lawsuit, and guess what? She's guilty. And you know what's going to happen? She's not going to have any money left by the time they get through.
I hope they do, man. I hope they sue the fuck out of her.
That's the thing. It was said. Didn't we talk about this one time when the J6 was released? They said, you know what they can do? They can turn around, instead of filing a lawsuit against the government, they can file civil lawsuits against the ones that were in charge, like the Speaker of the House. Pelosi and them, that they could file the civil suit.
Well, she's on video saying that she did orchestrate all this. So, that's why the judges are ruling in favor of this.
Yeah, it's gonna be funny.
I hope they bury her ass.
I know. I hope she doesn't have a pot to piss in when they're done with her.
Yeah. She's been pretty fucking quiet too. You ain't seeing her peep out of any of those dumb fucks.
Hey, I just got something here from my fiance Michelle.
Yeah, why didn't she put it up on posts?
I don't know why. Probably because she's probably on her phone. I don't know. The closest points between mainland, we're talking about Russia and Alaska. Remember the tunnel system? The closest points between mainland Russia and mainland Alaska are approximately 55 miles.
Yeah. So they can bore that easy.
Yeah. So
walk in the park.
If you wonder if World War III began between Russia and the United States, if you wonder where the ground troops are going to end up, it's going to be between Alaska and Russia. All right.
Well, that's where, I bet you any money, that's where they'd fire off the nukes. That's where down there and boom,
That's where the troop movement is. And Alaska actually has Air Force bases there, and they do have nukes.
Yeah.
So you wonder where World War III would begin between those two. And we said that back in the Cold War.
Right.
In the Cold War, when we were training against Russia, there was talk about that. There was talk about the underground tunnel system between Russia, or then the Soviet Union, and
that was back in the 90s.
Yeah. 55 miles isn't that far from the United States to Russia, folks, since Alaska is technically the United States. So when they laughed and they mocked Sarah Palin, who was the governor at that time, that's just bullshit. Because you know what? She made a statement, I can practically see them from my backyard. She wasn't meaning it literally, but she was basically saying that's how freaking close they are to us.
Right.
And that's the real map, folks. That's the real map. If you look at the real map, Russia is north of us.
Right.
And they're north by 55 miles, which is very close. Okay, that's less than 55 minutes away if you're traveling at a faster speed than 55 hours,
Right. You can get there in an hour. Easy.
Less.
Troop movement.
Travel, yeah.
2 hours tops.
If the troops are moving at 60 miles an hour, it's less.
Yeah.
So.
Well, typically when you're in a big troop movement, it takes a little more time than.
Oh yeah, those convoys. We know those convoys. We were in those convoys. They take a while. You got to stop and you got to do your security checks and your perimeter checks, and you got to slow down and tactfully move. But bottom line, and it still isn't that long of a.
No, not at all.
So yeah. So there you go.
Anything else where the one thing is not like the other?
No, I think I'm done. I should be done. I should be done talking.
Yeah. All right. Well,
I talk too much.
So tonight we're on Rumble, Twitch, and YouTube. So, and then we'll be on all your streaming audio sources. I don't think we're on Apple. Is about the only one I can't get us on. So,
Really? Well, YouTube we're on, right? So
yeah,
I like,
you can put us on Google. Google will
I
do
like
it.
that.
Google
As long as they don't
Podcast,
take us down, I like the fact that we're on YouTube.
Spotify, iHeartMedia, Podbean, Podchaser. Yeah, so I think I named off all the big ones, and then there's a lot of little ones. You could ask Alexa, and she'll play it for you.
No, Alexa.
Another AI thing.
Yeah, AI.
AI. All right. Well, that's a wrap. And thanks for following Stars, Bars, and Cigars. And with that, we're just going to bow out here.
You bet.
Listening to Stars, Bars, and Cigars. Two conservative vets telling it like it is. The rally cry for those who appreciate bold truths served with a side of mayhem.
Roger, outside, decide before that's all. We'll keep them sweating until we see Butcher 3. Out.
We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. And if you didn't, well, why are you still here, Snowflake? We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, follow us on Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, and hear our precious voices on all the streaming services. Until next time, keep the spirit of freedom roaring.